Hey, do you have a case of sloppy throttle? You see all that little jiggle jiggle in your throttle? That's not normal, people. But today, you're in the right place because I'm going to show you how you can adjust your throttle so not only will you not have sloppy throttle, but also you won't have too tight of throttle either. As long as your throttle is working, why does it matter if you have sloppy throttle? Before you engage with your throttle to actually give it gas, all that little wiggle wiggle is how far your hand has to move before you finally connect so that the throttle is actually working. If you're trying to do slow speed maneuvers, whether it be on asphalt or off-road, or you just want more responsive throttle, you don't want to have all that extra slack before you make contact with the actual gas and throttle. It's not the biggest problem in the world just to have a little bit out of spec, but some of you had a little jiggle jiggle thing going and you might notice a difference in your motorcycle if you solve it. Over time, your throttle cable does tend to stretch. I think it's good to have it in spec as possible because this is something that's stretching, right? It is something that's stretching over time. The more you keep it closer to spec, the less likely you're going to end up with some like little floppy thing. And this isn't just for those who have sloppy throttle. Maybe you have the manual and it says at so many thousands of miles or kilometers, make sure you make this adjustment to your throttle. And you just want to know how to do that. So this video is to show you exactly that, how to do it. And I'm going to be using a TVS HLX 150X. The adjustment I'm about to show you, it will work on most motorcycles. Most modern bikes may have two cables connected to the throttle, like the one you see here, or only one throttle cable, as seen on this TVS HLX 150X. On both styles of throttle, you will see one cable with a lock nut and adjuster that you will be adjusting to change the slack or free play of the throttle, as it's typically called. If you can adjust it here, if this gets to be where no matter how you adjust it, the free play is not coming into spec, then you may have to then look into adjusting it down here by the carburetor or by the throttle body for fuel injected models of motorcycles. But what I'm going to be showing you is at the upper end because that's where most of the time you're going to adjust it here. First thing on most motorcycle handles, you're going to have this molding line here that you can use as a way to mark the free play that you have. I'm going to use this. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a little bit of this masking tape here. I'm going to take a little piece off of it. Really don't need a whole lot. Just slide it in here lightly. I want to make sure this is still free flowing. Basically this little wiggle here where there's no tension, that is essentially the free play that we're talking about, right? And to know the distance of free play, I'm going to use this little molding mark, which is the starting point here, which is all the way closed. And then I'm going to turn it down till I feel the first resistance. I don't know if you could see it, but this is where it stops. I'm going to mark it and then I'm going to measure the 2 points. I have it all the way up here. I'm going to put a little dot with this Sharpie here. Then I'm going to rotate it down till I feel the resistance. I'm going to put, if I don't mess this up, another dot here. Now you can see that there are these two prominent dots that I'm going to measure in between. Here I have this little ruler that I'm going to use to measure, and it's basically around 10. For the TVS, it's going to be anywhere from 4 to 10, which is quite a lot of slack. The average motorcycle is going to be about 2 to 3 millimeters, your average modern style motorcycle, but these are your more basic motorcycles. A lot of times the manufacturers allow for a little bit more slack to account for some of the extra degradation that happens in some of these more harsh environments that you'll find a lot of these basic budget motorcycles. Yeah, yours is going to be probably way less. I'm right there at the upper end of what is acceptable. So now I'm going to adjust it. So we're going to remove this little dust cover thing. I have to use number 8 wrenches, 2 of them. I'm going to loosen. Now that it's the lock nut is loose enough, I'm going to turn this the equivalent of clockwise, and that is sort of like moving this down the cable. I'm just going to move it down a whole bunch. Now I'm going to go back to here, and this is already really, it's barely budging now. You can see the molding here, how it's barely budging. That's probably way too tight. So now I'm going to bring it back a little bit. So that looks like a possibility here. So I'm gonna try that. Get another piece of tape here, put it back here. I'm going to put it all the way at the top. First dot, down here at the bottom. Second dot. And we see that's closer to 6.5 or so, a definite improvement. So hopefully I will have a lot more responsive throttle. So now that I have this adjuster in the position that I want, I'm going to hold it down in place. Maybe I'll hand tighten it at first, get it back to position. Okay, again, this is all the way up. You You see there's barely any free movement there. So that's a lot better. Use this again for another confirmation now that I've locked it down to make sure. Sometimes when you lock things down, you know, things can subtly move. I want to make sure they move too much. I mean, it went down maybe to about 6, but that's still acceptable for me. I like to take a measurement before and after I tighten, just in case there could be small movement in the tightening process that can happen. Okay, so now I have the bike turned on, and I'm just gonna turn the handlebars slowly to the right, my right, and now slowly to my left. What I'm trying to hear for, or is there any change in the idle speed? Because that could just show you that maybe the cable is not routed properly. It's maybe you made the adjustment too tight. I shouldn't have this problem because at 6 millimeters, that's well beyond what typical tolerances are for, say, for example, a lot more modern bikes are today. Seems fine. I'm not hearing any sort of increase in idling as I'm turning left to right. I think everything's okay. Now that I've confirmed everything, I'm going to put this little dust cover thing, I'm gonna squeeze it back over. There we go. Yeah. So thank you so much for watching today. My name is Asha. I'm an American who learned how to ride motorcycles here in Africa and also how to wrench on bikes here in Africa. So if you would like to follow my journey as I have my ups and downs and my various adventures as I learn how to navigate in a very far away place from home, I would love it if you would like the video and subscribe. Also, I will be doing gear reviews from time to time, maintenance, repair, wrenching on bikes and stuff like that. So if that will interest you at all, I would love it if we can ride together. Thank you so much for watching. And until next time, bye!